It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Reds in their final meeting of the year. It's game number 9 between these two, and they've split the previous 8. They split 6 in Ohio, and the Dodgers now trying to win the rubber game here today. By the way, for the Reds, they've had 2 incentives. Number 1, they had lost 12 straight at Dodger Stadium, and they snapped that Friday night. However, the Reds have not won a series from the Dodgers since 2004. So they have a lot on the line today, besides the fact, and more importantly, they're 3.5 in front of the Cardinals. It'll be Clayton Kershaw, Bronson Arroyo. We'll have the ball game and a whole lot more coming up right after this. The 2011 Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Southern California Hyundai dealers today. By Shakey's. This player has the highest lifetime batting average of .367. Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit AT&T.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. And by 76 Gasoline. We're on the driver's side. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers at home for their final game of the homestand with Cincinnati. Dodgers leave town tomorrow to head for Milwaukee in Colorado before coming home to play Philadelphia and San Francisco. The so-called rubber game of the series and the final meeting of the year. And for the Dodgers and the Reds, they have split the previous 8. The Reds winning 3 of the 6 in Ohio. They've split 2 here. And as we mentioned in our opening remarks, the Cincinnati Reds have not won a season series from the Dodgers since 2004. So Dusty's boys have an added incentive. They already snapped that 12-game losing streak at Dodger Stadium. Here's the way the Reds stack up. 3.5 in front of the Cardinals. It'll be Brandon Phillips and Miguel Cairo, followed by Joey Votto and Johnny Gomes. Chris Heisey will be in right field. Brian Hannigan behind the plate. Drew Stubbs in center, Paul Yanish at short, and Bronson Arroyo on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, the 22-year-old left-hander, and that would be Clayton Kershaw with a record of 11-7. Last time out, he picked up his 11th win, shutting down the Rockies over 7 innings in a game where the Dodgers won 6-0. He is 1-0 in his career against the Reds. He limited their hitters to a .212 batting average and struck out 18 in his 2 career starts against them. He has 7th in the league, allowing the hitters a .221 average, and left-handers are hitting just .177 against them. So when you look at the Cincinnati lineup, the only left-hand batter in their lineup is their best hitter, Joey Votto, who hits 3rd. So the Dodgers and Reds ready to go at it. And the first thing for the Reds to know, the Cardinals, trailing them by 3.5, are leading the Giants 8-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Dusty knows it's going to be a bumpy ride from here to the finish. The Dodgers also learn the Padres are leading the Brewers 4-2 in the top of the 6th inning. So now it'll be Brandon Phillips, Miguel Cairo, and Joey Votto. Brandon checking in, a Gold Glove second baseman with power, and punches one foul outside of first down to Billy Hatcher, and the count 0-1. Phillips hitting .284, and he brings a lot to the dance. A Gold Glover, an RBI man with power. He has 14 home runs, and an all-star as well. And the pitch to him is probably hit just over the head of a leaping Terrio into right center field for a base hit. So Brandon Phillips comes up with his 5th hit of the series, and he's as hot as the weather. The weather right now at game time is 93 degrees. So wherever you are, sunblock and a lot of water today. And for those of you in the ballpark, it'll be hot. So get yourself comfortable and make sure you have the water. For Kershaw, it continues. He has not been able to get a 1-2-3 first inning all year. So it's a rather remarkable, although almost meaningless stat, as he goes to work now on Miguel Cairo. Cairo takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Miguel Cairo, way back when, was originally signed by the Dodgers. That was back in 1991. He's bounced around a lot with the Cubs and the Devil Rays and the Cardinals. Played for Joe Torre. In fact, Joe tells a story when the Yankees got Cairo. He was driving his car and his phone rang, and it was a phone call from Red Schoendienst, former great player for the Cardinals and Milwaukee and an executive with St. Louis. And Red called Joe and said, "You have Miguel Cairo." And Joe said, "Yeah, I understand." And Red Schoendienst said, "This son of a gun knows how to play and he can hit." And later on, Torre certainly confirmed that judgment on Miguel Cairo. He hits one foul into the seats off first down the line. Miguel is hitting .293. He has 4 home runs, 24 runs batted in. He's out of Venezuela. He's 6'1", about 210, and he's 36 years old. As a kid growing up in Venezuela, he idolized Ozzie Guillen and Omar Vizquel. And sure enough, he had the opportunity. He played with Vizquel in winter ball and played with Guillen in Tampa Bay. 0-2 the count. Kershaw back with a breaking ball, swung on and missed, and down goes Cairo. So 1 away in the first inning. Let's set the Dodgers with the leather. Posednik, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. The infield, Blake and Carroll, Theriot and Loney. And behind the plate, A.J. Ellis handling Clayton Kershaw. So Brad Osmus caught 3 in a row, and Ellis behind there today. And here is Joey Votto, a standout player, a prime candidate to be the MVP this year. Joey hitting .321 and backs away on a pitch low and inside, ball 1. Votto has 28 home runs, 83 runs batted in. He has gone 10 games without a home run, but he makes contributions every day, and he had 2 base hits last night. So Votto waiting, 1 ball and no strikes. No score. We're just, well, I was going to say warming up, but forget that phrase. And the pitch to Votto is high, ball 2, 2-0. So Clayton Kershaw, 1-0 this year, 1-0 lifetime against the Reds, trying to win his 12th, going up against the veteran right-hander Bronson Arroyo. Clayton ready now, and the 2-0 pitch on the way. High fastball, check swing. Ellis looks over to third base umpire Kerwin Danley. No response. So they count 3-0. And waiting on deck, Johnny Gomes. Brandon Phillips off the bag at first. He has stolen 13 bases. Votto looks at a strike, looking at right into A.J. Ellis mid, and the count 3-1. It's a somewhat of an optical illusion. If you sit here and you look out over center field at the mountains, for all the world you'd think that's snow up there. 3-1 the count. Kershaw ready and delivers very high, ball 4. So Votto goes to first. Phillips advances to second, and with 1 out, Johnny Gomes. The mountains with all their majesty out there in center field. All of the visiting ball clubs, especially this time of year when they come here, they're all amazed at the view if they had never been here before, and especially those who get high enough coming into the ballpark. It is a breathtaking sight. We don't ever want to take it for granted. So here's Gomes hitting .263, 13 home runs, 66 runs batted in. And maybe it's just a psychological ploy, but there's pressure on Gomes as Kershaw fakes a look and a throw to second. Johnny Gomes has 99 home runs in his career. He got a pop fly single last night to go 1 for 4. He has 2 hits in his last 23 at bats, and a lot of people in and around Cincinnati think it's because he has 99 career home runs. He takes outside, ball one. They feel that maybe he's pressing a little bit, trying to get to 100. Well, maybe you ought to call Alex Rodriguez and find out how he felt as he was approaching 600 home runs. Kershaw spinning the ball in his hands, now ready to go to that high stretch and set. Left-hander delivers. Gomes has a look, and it's outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Kershaw walking one man. His numbers a little better than 2-1. He's walked 68 while striking out 164. Clayton checking, turns, throws back to Terrio, not in time, almost getting Brandon Phillips, almost but not quite. Of course, the only player you're going to pick off is an adventuresome runner, and for Phillips, getting back with the hand, and he certainly fulfills the definition of an adventuresome runner. He's been involved in 22, 13 steals, and he's been caught 9. So 2-0 the count to Johnny Gomes, and he looks at ball 3. Still 3-0. One of those edgy first innings experienced the other night by Carlos Monasterio, so he gave up 2 base hits and then turned things around. And of course, last night we saw Johnny Cueto walk 3 in the first inning. Kershaw on a 3-0 pitch to Johnny Gomes, and it's taken very high, so he's not just missing, he's off the beam. So Gomes to first, Votto to second, Phillips to third, and with one away, Chris Heisey coming up. Chris Heisey checking in at home plate, came into the game late last night to finish up in left field. Heisey is the right fielder today. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, lives in Mechanicsburg. Went to a college you may not have ever heard of. I certainly didn't. Messiah College. And that's in Grantham, Pennsylvania, just outside of Harrisburg. And he went to a small college thinking he'd never get a chance to play pro ball. Didn't have any scholarships coming out of high school. So Heisey waiting, hitting 281. Right-hand hitter takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Chris Heisey is an even 6, 200. He's 25 years old. This is a young Cincinnati ball club. Heisey will be 26 the middle of December. Out of a stretch goes Kershaw, and the pitch of the plate swung on and fouled back. So he has to count his way with Heisey. No balls and 2 strikes with the bases loaded, 1 out first inning, and no score. In case you're interested, Heisey does not have a grand slam. The Reds have certainly been involved in grand slams, 11 of them this year. The Reds have hit 5, and the opposition has hit 6. 0-2 to Chris Heisey. Bases loaded, 1 out, no score. Kershaw ready. Big breaking ball is swung on and missed, and down he goes. So the bases remain loaded with 2 out. Kershaw picks up his second strikeout. Ryan Hannigan will be coming up. So Kershaw trying to fight his way out of the jam, goes to the strikeout. And now Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan played in the first game in the series, and he had a couple of base hits. He went 2 for 4. He also had a rather impressive at bat in that first game. It was a 12-pitch at bat before he flied to center. Last night he came in late, grounded out. Right-hand hitter swings, ground ball up the middle and through. That will score Phillips. Here comes Votto to score, and the Reds jump out to a 2-0 lead. The clutch base hit by Ryan Hannigan, who, by the way, always catches Bronson Arroyo. So Hannigan, who had broken his thumb earlier this year and was on the DL when he was really hot, battling to come back, and he's found his stroke in this series. So Hannigan, a big single to drive in 2. So Kershaw not out of the woods at all. And now Drew Stubbs, a lanky right-hand hitter, coming up. Brandon Phillips all smile in the Cincinnati dugout. And Kershaw out of a stretch. Clayton ready. Here he comes. Drops the breaking ball in there for a strike. And the count 0-1. 2-0 Cincinnati in the first inning. The Reds, rather remarkable since the All-Star break. They are 13-4 on the road. Strike one pitch is swung on and fouled back. Fastball that ate him up in on the hands. 0-2 the count to Drew Stubbs, who has done a very good job in center field, and is one of those young players, I think Dusty would agree, could very well be a candidate to be a Gold Glove winner one day. He was a first-round pick out of the University of Texas. Big fella, 6'4", kind of a stringy 200. Coming up there with 2 on, 2 out, and 2 in. And the strike 2 pitch on the way. Kershaw delivers, and it's a wild pitch all the way to the backstop, and the runners move up to second and third. So that wild pitch by Clayton Kershaw would be his 5th of the year, and the Reds, trying to make it an even bigger inning, now have runners in scoring position at second and third. So 2-0 Reds. First inning, light breeze blowing out to left field. 1-2 the count to Drew Stubbs. Out of a stretch goes Kershaw with first base open. Back he comes. Hard ground ball, just foul outside of first. That would have meant 2 more, but the ball just did slice off, and Stubbs cracked his bat, so he'll have to get another. Drew Stubbs, among other things, is not just a very good player. His dad ran track for Louisiana Tech for 4 years. And for Stubbs, he was a quarterback in high school. He was a member of 2 state champion relay teams, also played basketball, and gave the valedictory speech of his graduating class. So, I mean, he's something. The 1-2 pitch is strike 3 called. Got the inside corner with a fastball. So for Kershaw, he strikes out the side, but that small consolation, he gave up 2 runs. And at the end of half an inning, 2-0 Cincinnati. In the midday sun, made 23 pitches and gave up 2 runs. So now let's take a look at the Dodger lineup, trying to get him back. And it'll be Scott Posednik leading off in left field. Ryan Theriot, and then familiar names: Ethier, Kemp, Loney, Blake, Carroll, A.J. Ellis, the catcher, Kershaw on the mound. On the mound for Cincinnati, the big veteran right-hander, Bronson Arroyo. He's 6'5", 190, big leg kick, and then flips one in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. So he starts off the game with a changeup, leading 2-0. Arroyo ready again. Daddy long legs. Breaking ball is lifted to left center. Very playable. Coming over to Stubbs and Gomes. And Stubbs, the taller of the two, and the captain in the outfield, reaches up and makes the play. They made that a little tougher than it should have been. So all set to catch it was the left fielder Johnny Gomes. And then instead, Stubbs took it away from him. 1 down. Ryan Theriot will be coming up. A lot of things to talk about when you see Bronson Arroyo. And as a right-hander, the first thing you notice in his delivery, that high left leg. Boy, he lifts that thing up and then comes to the plate and almost effortlessly just tosses it up there. Ball 1. For Bronson Arroyo, the story that I've been told by some of the Cincinnati broadcasters, especially Chris Welch. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. A bunt attempt, running up a zip to bunt and then not moving the bat is Theriot, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. They say that the veteran Arroyo, who is 33, took a little bit of a lesson from the rookie pitcher Mike Leake, whom we saw briefly last night. 2-0 pitch on the way. Over the top, breaking ball. That's a strike. Leake has a habit of working very quickly and also just throwing a pitch to the plate. Not a fastball, not a change, just throwing it. The pitch is going to go foul down the line, out of play. So sometimes, as Chris said, if you look at the gun, you'll see a pitch that isn't a fastball. It isn't a changeup. It's just a nothing pitch. And he will do that and, like Leake, get away with it. 2-2 the count. Bronson, a very talented guitar player when he's not pitching. 2-2 pitch on the way. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing, says Dana DeMuth. And the count 3-2. Theriot hitting .284. 2 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Bronson Arroyo, 4 years ago, led the majors in innings pitched. He worked over 240 innings for the Reds. Bronson over the top and a high fly ball, but playable to left field. This one Jones can handle for sure, and we have 2 down in the first inning. For Arroyo to lead the majors in innings pitched, he became the first Cincinnati pitcher to lead the National League in innings pitched outright since Bucky Walters back in 1941. Bucky Walters, by the way, was a converted pitcher. Bucky was a third baseman. Another thing about Arroyo, and again it's a ways ago, 6 years ago, he hit 20 batters when he was pitching for the Red Sox, had a reputation of being somewhat of a headhunter. They pitched Andre Ethiers off the plate, ball 1. 1 ball and no strike. Andre hitting .301, 19 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's a fastball in for a strike, and the count 1-1. In the same year that he hit 20 batters and the Red Sox were champs that year, he had a stretch of 11 consecutive outs recorded by strikeouts. That's remarkable, striking out 11 big leaguers in a row. That gets your attention. And he's a good hitter. He became the first pitcher in the live ball era to hit a home run in each of his first 2 official at-bats. Ethier fouls it back. He has a home run this year, so he brings a lot. And it's no accident. Bronson started playing T-ball when he was a little guy, 4 1/2. And his father, believe it or not, was training him to be a professional baseball player. His dad saw something extra in his abilities. The 1-2 pitch to Ethier is swung on. A drive to right and deep. Going back is Heisey on the track to make the catch in front of the wall. So Ethier, a hard line drive out. He's angry at the fates as he throws his helmet away. And at the end of an inning, 2-0 Cincinnati. First inning for Clayton Kershaw, but now contends with Paul Janisch, the shortstop, and the first pitch low and inside, ball 1, 1-0. Janisch hitting .281. He has 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Kershaw comes right back after him and gets it in there for a strike. Another fastball, 1-1. The big difference between Kershaw and Arroyo would not necessarily be one is left-handed and one is right-handed. The 1-1 pitch, a little flare into shallow left, speared on the run by Jamie Carroll. Nice play by Jamie, 1 away. The real difference between Kershaw and Arroyo would be the percentage of fastballs. I would say with Clayton Kershaw, a good 70% of his pitches are fastballs. With Arroyo, maybe 25% of his pitches are fastballs. So that's a tremendous difference in style. And here's Arroyo. Now remember, he's a pretty good hitter. He has a home run. He has 7 runs batted in. He has a history of swinging the bat well. He has 8 hits. So Arroyo takes a strike, and they count 1 ball, 1 strike. He does give you that good strike zone at 6'5". So Bronson Arroyo leading 2-0, and the 1-1 pitch to him is swung on and foul back, and the count 1-2. When Bronson Arroyo was a little guy, the backyard of the Arroyo home featured a pitching mound, a batting cage, and a weight room. The next pitch, curveball, got him looking, and Arroyo walks away. For Kershaw, he now has 4 strikeouts. But how about that? You're about 5 years old. You have a pitching mound, a batting cage, and a weight room. And as he said, he lifted more weights at 5 than the average 15-year-old. Finally, he had to give it up, but it gave him tremendous strength. So now here's Brandon Phillips. Single to right, came around to score in the first inning. Reds 2, Dodgers nothing, top of the second. Reds trying to win the 9th meeting of the year to win the season series for the first time against the Dodgers since 2004. Kershaw ready and delivers, and Brandon fouls it away. Sounded like he cracked the bat. He's walking away, so I guess he did. Yep. Celery stalks at midday. You can hear it crack even up here. So no balls and one strike to Brandon Phillips. Miguel Cairo on deck. Brandon Phillips, you may or may not remember, really stirred a rhubarb before the recent Cardinals series when he kept uttering publicly, "I hate the Cardinals. I hate the Cardinals." Then came up to the plate leading off the series and tapped Yadier Molina on the shin guards. Kind of a hello. Well, Molina didn't like it at all based on his comments. And before you knew it, both benches emptied. Both managers were screaming at each other. Johnny Cueto suffered a suspension. And the Cardinals swept the Reds. A bunt attempt, and he did try to move the bat, and they count 1-2. However, having been swept by the Cardinals, you then say, well, how did they come out? They turned right around and won 16 of the next 18. So it is a solid ball club with the ability to rise and come back. The 1-2 pitch to Brandon is high. 2-2 the count. Got his Gold Glove in 2008. 2-2 pitch to Brandon Phillips. Swung on, foul back to the screen. Phillips hitting .286, had 3 hits in the first game, 1 last night, and singled leading off the first inning today. Brandon in even 6, about 195. He's 29 years old. The 2-2 pitch is swung on, and that's going to be slapped into right center for a base hit. So Phillips, a 2-out single. He is 2 for 2, and that will bring up Miguel Cairo. Phillips has stolen 14, and now Cairo checking in at the plate. Cairo hitting .291, 4 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Cairo is one of those guys who had a very, very unforgettable beginning to his career. He takes low and inside. You have to go all the way back to 1996. Miguel was with the Toronto Blue Jays. They were playing the California Angels in those days, and left-handed Chuck Finley. And on the very first big league pitch he saw, he promptly doubled. 1-0 the count to Miguel Cairo. We might check his hands on the bat too. Throw to first, not in time. We say that because for a while early in his career, he separated his hands good 2 to 3 inches apart. Frank Howard, who was the bench coach in the Devil Rays in those days, said, "I've never seen a hitter like that." Then somebody said, "Well, Ty Cobb hit that way." Frank said, "Oh." Well, over the years, he has brought the hands now together. And meanwhile, a throw down to first, and committed to go to second is Phillips, and he is nailed. For Brandon Phillips, not a good base runner, only in the sense he has stolen 13, but he has now been caught 10. It's still 2-0 Reds. First inning. We now go to the bottom of the second inning, and it'll be Matt Kemp, James Loney, and Casey Blake. Matt hitting .255, 20 home runs, 68 runs batted in, and Bronson Arroyo ready to go back to work. Right-hander, a high kick, comes over the top with a good fastball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. And looking at the past to learn a little bit about the present, Matt Kemp hitting .357 against Arroyo with a home run. Promptly swings and hits one to deep center, going back to the track. At the wall, watching it go out is Drew Stubbs, and Matt Kemp hits it out to give the Dodgers the run. So Matt, that long fly ball that carried in the heat right over the center field wall, and that makes it Reds 2, Dodgers 1. For Arroyo, that would be the 20th home run that he has allowed. So Matt clears the wall, and the batter now will be James Loney. And of course, not only are the Reds in shock, I think some of the Dodgers are too, that they had 4 home runs back to back in the second and in the third last night. Loney, meanwhile, takes the strike and the count 0-1. So Matt Kemp hits his second home run against Arroyo, and now James Loney, who is hitting .421 against him, and Loney has a home run. Arroyo's pitch is hit in the air to left field, slicing away, a diving, rolling catch by Johnny Gomes. What a wonderful play by the Cincinnati left fielder. He was shading Loney naturally towards left center, and he had to really go, and chasing a ball that was slicing away from him. He makes a diving backhand catch, rolled over, did a bit of a somersault, and somehow held on to the ball. Great play by John. So 1 out. And the batter now will be Casey Blake. Reds 2, Dodgers 1. The pitch to Casey, in for a strike. Blake hitting .249. 12 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Arroyo rocks and comes back 0-1, and a fastball is hit back to him, and at 6'5", he's able to reach up and grab it and throw to first. 2 down. And a reminder, the final fireworks of the season, Friday, September 3rd, the Dodgers and the Giants following the game, and all fans are invited onto the field to take in the show, presented by Bank of America. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. Giants battling to stay alive in pursuit of the Padres. So we'll check the scoreboard, see what we have, if there's anything new. Pitch in for a strike to Jamie Carroll. Jamie hitting .287 with 20 runs batted in. Giants are being buried by the Cardinals. It's 8-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Meanwhile, the Padres are out in front 7-2 in the 7th against the Brewers. Of course, the Padres have blown 2 leads of 3 runs early in each of the first 2 games, and they had a 4-0 lead early today. Pitch to Jamie Carroll off the plate. 1-2 the count. Bronson Arroyo pitched a 9-inning perfect game in the International League. It got a lot of attention. Only a rarity of all. There's a little flare, just foul down the right field line. Carroll hits it over the head of Votto, but it's sliced foul. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. The perfect game turned in by Arroyo was only the 4th in the history of the International League, and you're talking about a league that was 120 years old back in '03. Bronson, both feet on the rubber, he hangs 10. 1-2 the count to Jamie Carroll. Big, tall, right-handed deals breaking ball down and away. 2-2. When he was with the Pawtucket Red Sox, he was also the International League's most valuable player. When you see long hair, in fact, one year he had cornrows, you figure, uh-oh, he's a rock star. The pitch to Carroll is pulled foul the other way, though he's still up there 2-2. Bronson is a self-taught guitarist. He uses an old 6-string Yamaha, and they say he's like a jukebox. He knows hundreds of songs. But forget the guitar and the long hair. They say he's a tremendous competitor. Fastball fouled away upstairs. 2-2 the count. Got his music craze from listening to Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, all the gang that I know so well. 2-2 the count. Here comes Bronson's fastball, and it is low. Ball 3. 3-2 the count. 2-1 in favor of the Reds. We're in the 2nd inning. Arroyo feet together on the rubber. Now Bronson ready in the 3-2 pitch. Over the top, line drive right at Miguel Cairo. So down go the Dodgers, but not before Matt Kemp hits a home run. And at the end of 2, it's Reds 2, Dodgers 1. Dodgers 2-1. For the Reds, it's really been annoying, I'm sure. The last thing is to get hurt when the pitcher has the count, no balls, 1 strike, no balls, 2 strikes. Miguel Cairo fouls it away, 0-1. Last night, all the Dodger home runs were hit by batters who had the count against them. And Matt Kemp, sure enough, he hits a home run on a no ball, 1 strike count. So it's 2-1 Reds in the 3rd. And the strike 1 pitch swung on, fouled off by Miguel. 0-2 the count. Cairo, Votto, and Gomes. The Reds, a good ball club. They do well everywhere. And against the West, they're 13 games above 500. Dodgers are 2 games above 500 against the Central. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled off. Breaking ball, and Cairo took a lash at it. Not afraid to strike out. And still up there 0-2. Cairo has only struck out 21 times in about 170 plate appearances, and you could tell the way he swung at that 0-2 pitch. Here's a very aggressive hitter, not afraid at all about striking out. Goes after a pitch in the dirt, and the aggressiveness does not pay off. The tag at the plate, so Cairo strikes out, opening up the 3rd inning. Off speed pitch in the dirt. And Cairo fooled by the arm speed of Kershaw and couldn't check. So Kershaw, with a wobbly start, has struck out 5, trails 2-1, and now Joey Votto, the only left-hander in the lineup, walked and scored in the 1st inning. And Joey comes up empty on a swing at a slider. No balls and 1 strike to Joey Votto. Votto certainly is the spearhead of the attack by the Reds. Joey looks at another strike. 0-2. Votto 28 home runs, 83 runs batted in. 24 of his 28 home runs against right-handers. Strike 2 pitch, check swing. It's a foul tip and caught and an out. We got a little bit of a late informative gesture by Campos, though Joey tried to hold up. Foul tips it, caught by Ellis. 6 strikeouts for Kershaw, and the batter now is Johnny Gomes. A few moments ago when Johnny was up there, we talked about the fact that he has 99 home runs in his career, and 99 works out pretty well. Bronson Arroyo has 99 wins in his career. And the pitch to Gomes, a strike. So Kershaw is going after the hitters now, getting that first pitch strike. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Reds, 1 run, 1 hit for the Dodgers, and we're in the top of the 3rd inning. Kershaw looks down the barrel to get a sign. Now Clayton ready, and the strike 1 pitch on the way looked like a curveball that didn't curve. It stayed way up. 1-1 the count. Johnny Gomes waiting on that 1-1 pitch, and he holds up on a strike, and the count 1-2. John struggling, but he did walk in the 1st inning. Kershaw ready, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on, a handle 1 hopper to short, and Carroll throws him out. So Gomes doesn't hit the ball very hard, taps to shortstop, and the Reds are done 1-2-3 at the end of 2.5 innings, 2-1 in favor of Cincinnati. In favor of the Reds. They picked up 2 in the 1st. Matt Kemp homered in the 2nd, and now in the 3rd, A.J. Ellis, Clayton Kershaw, and Scott Podsednik. Arroyo deals, gets a strike, and the count 0-1. A.J. hitting 174, young fella just starting his career. 9 runs batted in. And the strike one pitch foul back. By the way, the Dodgers, as you know, have two catchers, A.J. Ellis and Brad Osmus. And today, the Dodgers announced they have picked up Rod Barajas from the New York Mets. Interesting, Barajas was injured the last time the Mets were here. And the pitch inside. Do you remember the game when Jason Bay crashed into the bullpen gate, the Dodger bullpen gate? And of course, he never recovered from that. Barajas suffered a left oblique strain in that game, or at least in that series. Meanwhile, little flare into right field, and A.J. Ellis a single to right. So Barajas will be coming in to join the Dodgers. He's an Ontario, California native. Meanwhile, Russell Martin, it is such a sad story for someone who has given everything he has, is injured, and has to just stand. Oh, yes, they also serve who only stand or sit and wait, but it's a painful time, I'm sure, for a young catcher. Kershaw is up there to bunt, pulls the bat back, a throw to first, and just getting back is A.J. Ellis. Ellis very slowly getting up, and he's not quite ready to continue. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips over to say something to him. Close play, and the tag not quite by Phillips. Votto charging the plate on the bunt. So 1 ball and no strikes the count. Kershaw shows bunt, swings away, ground ball to short. On the bag as Giannis throws to first, double play. And under the heading of the best laid plans of mice and men, write down the name Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw has 13 sacrifices. If there is one thing he does well with the bat, is bunt. And they decided to have him swing, and the double play. So 2 down in the third, and Scott Posednik will be coming up. So Bronson Arroyo saved on that one. Here now, Posednik flied to center in the first inning. Arroyo into the windup, right-handed deals, off speed, flips that curveball in. It was only 71 miles an hour. You know, we talked about Bronson Arroyo, the musician. He recorded his first CD here. Fly ball to left field. Johnny Gomes is there, and that's the inning. So a leadoff single is wasted. The Dodgers wind up going 1-2-3. And at the end of 3, Reds 2, Dodgers 1. It is brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move. By K-Swiss Tubes. And by Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo, served with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. 2-1 in favor of the Reds. We go to the 4th inning, and it'll be Chris Heisey, Ryan Hannigan, and Drew Stubbs. That's a strike, 0-1. Chris Heisey, when he went to college, Messiah College in Pennsylvania, he thought he would become a teacher. Fouled away out of play. He figured his career path would be get your degree, get an elementary school teaching job, and go about his life. But during the summer in his junior year, a friend of his on the college team convinced him, hey, let's go to some tryout camps. Half swing, down he goes, striking out a second time. And the very first tryout camp he went to, the Reds, they liked him, signed him, and here he is. So 1 away, and by the way, 7 strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw, who has certainly recovered from the wobbly first inning. Clayton's high in strikeouts in his career, 13 last year. This year his high is 12 against the Cubs. That's a strike to Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan singled to drive in 2 runs in the first inning, hitting .291. Breaking ball, but it's low. 1-1 on the curve. Reds 3.5 games in front of St. Louis, and the Cardinals have won. The Reds and the Cardinals have 3 games left against each other, and the Reds are probably happy about that because the Cardinals have beaten them 10 out of 15. But when you talk to Dusty about the closing month and a quarter, whatever, he worries about Milwaukee. The 1-2 pitch is high, ball 2. As Dusty says, you play Milwaukee, Ryan Braun can beat you all by himself. Prince Fielder can beat you all by himself, and together they can really be a problem. 2-2. Ball 3. As far as Milwaukee is concerned, the Reds have done pretty well. They've beaten them 4 out of 5. The other thing for the Reds, they have a relatively soft month of September. Oh, badly fooled is Hannigan and strikes out. He got cheated. That wasn't much of a swing, and he'd be the first one to attest to it. Take a look. Didn't know what to do, and then roll the hands, and that's strikeout number 8. So Kershaw very much on the beam now, facing Drew Stubbs, who struck out in the first inning. Cracked back, ground ball up the middle. Jamie on the move, gets him. So the Reds go quietly, and at the end of 3.5, it's 2-1 Cincinnati. The Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. By Corona and by Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. Bottom of the 4th inning, it's 2-1 in favor of the Reds. Dodgers trying to get something going now. They'll have Terrio, Ethier, and Kemp in that order. Kershaw has certainly turned things around after a first inning. He's been brilliant. A strike. This is the 9th and final meeting between the two teams, and almost every game has turned into somewhat of a slugfest. We've really only had one solid pitching duel. That's a drive to right, slicing away on Heisey, and he catches up to it. 1 away. The scores had usually been one-sided. The only pitching duel was the other night when David Bailey Jr., better known as Homer, outpitched Monasterio and beat the Dodgers 3-1. The others 11-9, 14-6, 12-0, 7-1, 8-5. So really just one duel, and we might have another today. So 1 away, and here's Ethier, flied to right field in the first inning. Andre 0 for 1. Arroyo's fastball swung on and fouled off. Ethier hit that ball hard in the first inning, but he hit it right at Chris Heisey. Cardinals trying to put it together. They knocked off the Giants 9-0. So for the moment, they're trailing the Reds by 3. It will either revert back to 3.5 or be cut to 2.5. 0-2 the count to Andre. In that Cardinal 9-0 victory, that was Barry Zito and Jaime Garcia. 7 different Cardinals had an RBI. Cardinals went 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and having knocked Zito out of the game early. 0-2. 0-1. So the Cardinals trying to go to the whip. The Padres are doing the same thing now. They're beating the Brewers 7-2 behind John Garland, and they're in the top of the 9th inning. In that game, Padres jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They had home runs by Chase Headley and Adrian Gonzalez, but then Ryan Braun hit his 18th. That cut the lead to 4-2. Then the Padres had a 2-run double by Miguel Tejada, RBI single by David Eckstein, and they lead 7-2 in the ninth. High foul, out of play. Nice to see David Eckstein back playing again. Great kid, wonderful player. In fact, I believe Sports Illustrated they did a poll of all of the players saying what player gets the most out of his ability, and they agreed, the majority, David Eckstein. Wonderful, well-deserved vote of confidence. And down goes Andre. So that's 2 out in the 4th inning, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. That's the first strikeout for Arroyo. Kemp led off in the 2nd inning. He already had 1 home run in his career against Arroyo, and he cleared the center field wall. That cut the lead from 2-0 to 2-1, and it was Matt's 21st home run. 69 RBIs, hitting .256. James Loney on deck. Strike on the inside corner. According to the gun, that was one of those pitches. Remember I told you that Chris Welch told me that every now and then he'll just throw a pitch. It's not really a change. Well, that was one of them. That was an 82-mile-an-hour something. Then the slider, and they count 0-2. Boy, you have to have a lot of confidence to just get the ball and throw it. The big league hitters. That was one reason I think why Matt Kemp backed away, is to say, what in the world was that? 0-2. Cut that thing, and down he goes. That was a barely moving slider, but it did the job. So he strikes out Ethier and Kemp, and at the end of 4, it's 2-1 Reds. Pretty fair pitching duel going on. Bronson Arroyo, Clayton Kershaw, 2-1 in favor of the Reds, and we mosey along to the 5th inning. Paul Janisch, the shortstop, then Arroyo and Phillips in that order. Fouled away. Janisch has been basically the Reds' starting shortstop since Orlando Cabrera went on the DL. 3rd day in the month. 0-1 the count. One ball, one strike. Janisch is the boy who, among other things, pitched in college. They clocked him at 94. That's going to be a foul ball. Back about 5 years ago, Janisch was involved in a collision at first base, tore a ligament in his arm, and he had to have the Tommy John surgery. But undeterred, the fellow went to school at Rice University, lives still in Cypress, Texas. In the big leagues, signed by the Reds 6 years ago, and came up in 2008. Foul back, out of play. One ball and 2 strikes, they count. Janisch will be 28 in October. Fastball, popped it up. Loney and Terrio. Terrio is calling, makes the catch. Boy, it's a tough sky. Brilliant blue. And Terrio with the bill of the cap, the sunglasses, and his glove for a little shade, and his bare hand as well. So he's done this a million times, especially somebody who played so much in the daytime with the Chicago Cubs. Nice play on a tough day. One away, and Bronson Arroyo, pretty good hitting pitcher. 0-1 the count. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Reds. If you joined us late, Phillips singled with 1 out. Votto and Gomes walked to load the bases. With 2 out, Hannigan singled, and those are the 2. Dodgers had the home run by Kemp, so it's 2-1 Cincinnati, and we're in the 5th inning. 93 degrees when the game started. 1-2. Clayton Kershaw 11-7, 1-0 against the Reds. Oh, good breaking ball, and down goes Arroyo for the second time. Kershaw has brought a great curveball to the dance. He has 9 strikeouts with 2 out in the 5th inning. The batter will be Brandon Phillips. Single to right, single to center. Broke too early, and the Dodgers nailed him trying to steal in the 2nd inning, but he did score in the 1st inning. So the always busy Brandon Phillips at the plate. Strike. 0-1. In 2007, Brandon Phillips had 30 home runs and 32 stolen bases. That is a high mark indeed. There are 31 members of that club, but only 2 of them are second basemen. One of them is now a left fielder. Alfonso Soriano did it as a second baseman, and then Brandon. The other Reds to do it, Eric Davis and Barry Larkin. And one thing, something happens to Brandon Phillips at this ballpark. He's hitting .448 at Dodger Stadium. That's the highest average by any major leaguer with at least 50 at-bats in the history of Dodger Stadium. Not just by an active player, anybody who played here. He hits one into right center for a base hit. So there's something magical for him. He is 27 for 59, so that gets him well over 450 here. 2 out, single to center. Well, when you realize this ballpark opened up in 1962 against the Cincinnati Reds. Dodgers, by the way, lost that game. Home run by Wally Post. He hit it right between the flagpoles in dead center to beat Padres and the Dodgers. But how many wonderful players have come through here since 1962 with at least 50 at-bats, and he, Brandon Phillips, has been the most successful hitter in the history of Dodger Stadium. Wow. Cairo, 0-1, has struck out twice. Miguel playing third base as they normally do following a series of night games. They rest Scott Rowland. So Scotty has the day off. Rowland is 35 out of Indiana, and I'm sure he welcomes the day. Chance to sit, relax, and get it all together. No balls and 1 strike to Cairo. Now remember, Phillips has stolen a bunch in the sense he's been successful in stealing second base 13 times, but he's also been caught 10, and that's not a good average. 0-1. And with 2 out, it's not a bad idea to think about it. If you run him and he makes it, good deal. If you run him and he doesn't make it for the 3rd out, you start the next inning with your number 2 hitter. 0-1 to Miguel Cairo. So Kershaw is pretty convinced. He has the feeling Phillips is going to try to go. Brandon turns, looks over at Billy Hatcher for the moment. Turned a little as if he's ready to go, but he's not. 1-1 the count to Miguel Cairo with Joey Votto on deck. Well, Dusty will be leaving Dodger Stadium. Johnny Lee, the rage of Riverside. We wish him well in pursuit of a division crown in the Central Division. 1 ball and 1 strike. Little foul ball. Fellow who certainly deserves some credit indeed. And that would be Walt Jocketty, the general manager of the Reds. I mean, Cincinnati has not been going anywhere for a long time. Jocketty put together some strong St. Louis Cardinal teams. And now, wouldn't you know, it's a little bit of an irony that he's running the Reds. And who's the big challenge? His old club, the Cardinals. 1-2. Did he? Yes, he did. So Cairo, unable to hold up, has struck out 3 times. And at the end of 4.5, Reds 2, Dodgers 1. And the Reds lead 2-1. James Loney, Casey Blake, and then Jamie Carroll. Clayton Kershaw has made 75 pitches through 5 innings. Arroyo has made 46 through 4. Way out in front on that changeup was Loney, and the count 0-1. James flied to left field in the 2nd inning. Johnny Gomes made a good running catch. 0-1 to Loney. That's a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. You don't see anyone rear back and raise the foot up to the sky, but Bronson at least swings that leg out towards third and short. High fly ball to center. Back goes Stubbs at the wall. Long out, 1 away. I remember as a child seeing a picture of Van Lingle Mungo of the Dodgers, right-hander. He was bent all the way back, and that left foot was reaching for the sky. Then I remember every now and then Juan Marichal of the Giants would raise that foot until it looked like it was pointing to the sky. Bronson doesn't get that high. He's halfway, but still it's a pretty long-legged delivery. 1 ball and no strikes. One out, 5th inning. 2-1 Reds. Casey hit back to the box. Big high chopper, but Arroyo is 6'5". That's a strike. 6'5", standing on a 10-inch mound. And he was able to reach up, get it, and throw Casey out. 2-1. Slow breaking ball in there. Curveball balances things. 2-2 the count. Remember, we told you Kershaw is probably 70% fastballs. Arroyo maybe 25%. There's one, and it's a hopper backhanded by Hannes. The long fly is not in time. Great effort at the other end by Joey Votto to dig it out of the dirt. But Blake is safely aboard. When you see a shortstop like a Giannis go to the hole like this, backhand, set on the grass and throw, and just miss, you realize the plus that it is to have a Rafael Furcal at short. The Dodgers sorely missing Rafael Furcal. And although the Reds understand that he's injured, but when they say we don't miss him, you can understand, because to a man, the Reds, when you mention the name Rafael Furcal, they all say the same thing. He kills us. So here's Jamie with Blake at first on the infield single. For the Dodgers, 1 run on 3 hits, and the run was the home run by Matt Kemp. You see the difference with a man on base with Arroyo. He certainly can't afford to do anything close to his normal delivery. Instead of that stiff left leg coming up and almost pointing at the shortstop, or certainly the third baseman, with a man on, he can't do that. So he'll bend it at the knee, the so-called slide step. Blake at first. That's in there. 1-1. Casey will not be running unless it's a hit and run play. Blake is 0 for 4 in what they would call stolen base attempts, but I'm sure they're all busted hit and run plays. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now this next pitch is ball 2, so the count goes to 2-1. You can be pretty sure that they'll play hit and run with Carroll. Jamie has only grounded into the entire year 7 double plays. Blake's not going. 1-2, so that changes things a bit. You're really expecting hit and run 2-1. You're expecting run and hit 3-1. 1-2, another story. Arroyo not striking out people. He has struck out 2. Watching Blake. He's not going. And that's going to go down the line, foul, out of play. So it's still 1-2. Bronson Arroyo facing Jamie Carroll. You know, back in June, the Dodgers faced Bronson Arroyo. The Reds won that game 7-1. And Bronson Arroyo not only won the game, he homered and helped on 3 double plays. That would make him the first pitcher to be involved in such a scenario since Don Newcomb in 1955. Foul ball. Votto can't make it. He was fighting his son. The unfamiliar territory. Wasn't quite sure where the dugout was, and he came up empty. In 1955, Don Newcomb, who was truly remarkable, in a game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, Newcomb went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs. He also participated in 3 double plays. And the Dodgers beat the Pirates 8-3. So it's still 1-2 the count to Jamie Carroll. Waiting on deck, the young catcher, A.J. Ellis. Hannigan always handling Arroyo. They work well together. And another foul ball off to the right. Watch Hannigan and where he stations himself before the pitch. See Carroll fouling everything off to the right. Hannigan's been hanging off the edge, the right side of the plate. Arroyo has given up a lot of fly balls. And smoked the center for a base hit. So first and second, 1 out, and A.J. Ellis will be coming up. Time to get you thinking a little bit. Oh, not much, but on a Sunday afternoon, here's the question. Joey Votto leads the National League in batting average. Who's the last Reds player to win a batting title? Do you have any idea? Well, we'll check in with you with the answer in a little while. Meanwhile, A.J. coming up, first and second and 1 out. Casey Blake hit back to the box in the 2nd inning, and Kershaw grounded into a double play. Those are the only 2 ground balls. Everything else in the air. Arroyo, with a record of 13-7, has never won here. He's 0-3 at Dodger Stadium. Off speed, floats in for a strike. 0-1. When Arroyo beat the Dodgers back in June, 7 innings, 5 hits, allowed 1 earned run, struck out 1, and walked 6. How about that? Line drive exploding up the middle for a base hit. That will score Blake to tie it up. On his way to third and arriving safely is Carroll. And Ellis gets the Dodgers even. So you might say from unexpected quarters, the Dodgers get the tying run. Blake, Carroll, and Ellis all combined to get it home. Casey brought it in. Carroll went to third, and Clayton Kershaw coming up. You would think in a 2-2 tie, and Kershaw is wearing the score on the back of his shirt, also his age, but you would expect Kershaw would bunt now to try and get Ellis to second, stay out of the double play, and leave it up to Posednik. But the last time we thought so, they took the bunt off, and he grounded into a double play. So let's see what happens this time. Both Cairo and Votto ready to charge the plate. You gotta believe he's bunting. Ball 1. Clayton, as we said, very successfully has 13 sacrifices. One ball and no strikes. Squeeze, and it's fouled away. They're not only trying to sacrifice, they're trying to squeeze in Carroll. 1 ball and 1 strike. The other night, remember, Ryan Theriot bunted with 2 outs to score Carroll, but that was not a squeeze. Now Kershaw wants to find out, with a 1 ball, 1 strike count, is the bunt on again, and or are we going to try to squeeze again? 1-1. Kershaw showing bunt. Bunts and gets it down. The out will be at first. So down to second base goes Ellis. You could certainly count on that bunt at least. The Kershaw for the 14th time sacrifices, and with second and third, Scott Posednik, 2 fly balls. Posednik flied to center, flied to left, 0 for 2, and nice work for Kershaw, appreciated by his mates, and he gets 5s in the dugout. Posednik with 5 runs batted in, hitting .280. Theriot hits back of him. 2 out. 2-2 tie. Bottom of the 5th inning. Ball 1. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Hanging over the Reds, the knowledge that the Cardinals won big, defeating the Giants. And the Cardinals trying to get to within 2.5. That's ball 2. Final score, San Diego took care of the Brewers 7-3. So the Giants lost to the Cardinals, and the Padres win. So San Diego leads the Giants by 6. And they let him pop it up on a 2-0 pitch, and going back to get it. Ball really carries in this heat. And Posednik flies out, but Dodgers get a run, and at the end of 5, we have a 2-2 tie. What about a triple steal? On this day in 1948, the Dodgers have the bases loaded in Ebbets Field. Jackie Robinson at third, outfielder Gene Hermansky at second, and Pee Wee Reese, the captain, at first. And they pulled off the triple steal. Jackie stole home, Hermansky stole third, Reese stole second. The Dodgers stole 8 bases in that game. But as they say on Broadway, how'd they come out? Typical Dodgers, 8 stolen bases, a triple steal. They lost 4-3. Let's go back to this one. We have a 2-2 tie here in the 6th inning. Kershaw and Arroyo. One ball and no strike. Votto has walked and struck out, scored a run. One and one. Arroyo had to labor in the 5th inning. He was breezing along, but he made 23 pitches, which is what Kershaw made in the 1st inning and has done very well since. Fly ball to left field. Going back on it is Pasednik. Ball, it's gone. I tell you, there's one thing for sure, although scientists might argue. This is a hot Sunday afternoon, and we've noticed a lot of balls traveling farther than we might expect. And Votto, who certainly has the power, hits a fly ball, and it just kept carrying. For Joey, that would be his first home run in 10 games, and it gives the Reds a 3-2 lead. It's his 29th home run. Boy, you have to be strong to hit it that high the other way. And Pasednik thought he had a play, and he just ran out of real estate. So Kershaw gives it up, and the Reds lead 3-2. For Clayton, the 10th home run that he's allowed. Now the batter is Gomes, who has walked, grounded to short. 0-1. We mentioned a moment ago about the triple steal. And of course, the steal of home has really disappeared. Although sitting down in the Cincinnati dugout is the last fellow we saw to steal home. That's enough. Remember when he played with the Angels? And Chad Billingsley was the pitcher? You still don't remember? Orlando Cabrera. Sure, well, there he is, taken in the game. Jackie Robinson, by the way, in that incredible career of his, in case you wondered, Jackie stole home 19 times. But if I remember correctly, he was also caught 12 times. That's popped in the air. Foul. A.J. coming back, but no play. I always remembered talking to Maury Wills, who never tried to steal home. Always asked him why not. And Maury said a fear of failure. Just a fear of failure. Not a fear of getting hit by the swing, but of course that can be terrifying. Breaking ball strike. Most of the times, if there is a steal of home or an attempt, it will be with a right-hand hitter up, hoping maybe the catcher won't react quickly enough, furnishing a screen. 1-2 the count. The other thing, if you're the runner at third trying to steal home, you like the idea of having a right-hand hitter up because the third baseman usually plays deeper than he would for a left-hand hitter, so that means you can take a little bit of a longer lead. Soft line drive. Casey says, I gotcha. All right, let's get back to the Reds and the fact that Joey Votto leads the league in batting. Who's the last Reds player to win a batting title? And you are correct if you said Pete Rose. Of course, he did it 3 times. His bat, you know, Pete Rose's bat was auctioned off. What do you think Pete Rose's bat would go for? First of all, during the course of his long career, he must have used who knows how many bats. But what would you pay for a Pete Rose bat? Maybe it's let's really dress it up. Let's say it was the bat he used to get the all-time base hit. Do I hear 100,000? You there in the back of the room. How about $150 some odd thousand? That was what Pete Rose's bat went for. And by the way, Pete Rose is the only Reds player to win a batting title in the last 70 years. So if Joey can do it, good for him. Well, it was kind of a sad day in Wrigley Field, but when you understand the story behind it, you can see his thinking. Lou Piniella, the manager of the Chicago Cubs, called it a career in baseball today. He managed that game, and unfortunately, all of us, I'm sure, were saying, gosh, it'd be nice if Piniella went out on a win. Not that it means much to the Cubs, but it would be nice. Life is sometimes so very cruel. Piniella went out all right. He lost to the Braves 16-5. And the manager opposite him will call it a career at the end of the year, and that's Bobby Cox. Piniella, since we're playing the Reds, and there's ball 4. Piniella won the 1990 World Series with the Cincinnati Reds. Lou had 1,835 victories, and he led 3 different teams to the playoffs. One of the big reasons we understand why Lou Piniella did not wait till the end of the season to retire, but did it now, was he felt the lack of care for his 90-year-old mother. And he personally wanted to get involved, and he hung him up today. So we wish him Godspeed. Meanwhile, here is Drew Stubbs. He is struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Reds lead 3-2. Off speed and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two down here. Reds lead 3-2. And the next one misses. 2-1 to count. So Votto's home run going to left field. Now here's Stubbs trying to advance Hannigan. Good fastball, good swing. 2-2. Three runs, 5 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Matt Kemp a home run. Joey Votto a home run. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Little ground ball to third. Casey the short way just in time. Hannigan really hustling. However, the Reds get a run, and we're heading for the bottom of the 6th. 3-2 Cincinnati. Driving is Johnny Gomes to backhand it, a beautiful shot in motion, and then holding on to the ball as he hit the ball hard and did a somersault. Soloni losing a base hit on a fine play. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 3-2 Reds. Theriot, Ethier, and Kemp in that order. I was just sitting here on this hot day watching Votto and wondering if you're keeping score of the game. Some folks love to do it. Some folks figure it's just too much work. Breaking ball, strike. 2 favorite true stories that I know of about keeping score or something. One occurred with Los Angeles sports writers covering the Dodgers. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the sports writer was late to the game, and he sat down next to a fellow writer and said, "Will you fill me in?" And the writer said, "Sure." 1-1 to Theriot. Ground ball to the hole. Giannis won't quit, but can't get him, and Paul frustrated as he throws a fist at the ground. Second time he's gone deep in the hole. Second time Blake first, and now Theriot, and the Dodgers come up with a hit. So Andre Ethier coming up. Anyway, one writer said to the other, "Fill me in." The other guy said, "Fine." Ground ball to short, fly ball to center, line drive to left. Star that. It was a great play. And the other writer who hadn't seen it said, "I'll be the judge of that." Here's Ethier. Flied to right, struck out, 0 for 2. Big swing. The other was Mel Allen working with Phil Rizzuto. Allen left the booth, I think, to go to the bathroom, came back and looked over at Rizzuto's scorebook and saw a fly ball to center, ground ball to short, WW. So he said to Phil, "Is that a walk?" And Rizzuto said, "No, WW is wasn't watching." That's a good way to do the game. 0-1 to count to Ethier. We're in the 6th inning. It's 3-2 Reds. Reds led 2-0. Kemp homered. Dodgers put together 3 singles to tie it up in the 5th, and then Joey Votto hit a home run to put the Reds in front. It reminds us of a quote by Scott Rowland about Votto. Rowland said, "I can pull the ball and hit it out of the ballpark," being a right-handed batter. He said Votto can hit the ball out of the ballpark the other way farther than I can hit it out when I pull it. Well, Votto hit what appeared to be a fly ball in the 6th inning, and it kept carrying, and Posednik went back, and next thing you know, it was in the seats, and that's the difference. It's 3-2 Reds. 1-1 to Andre. Matt Kemp on deck. Arroyo trying for his 14th win, trying to beat the Dodgers for the first time in his career here. He is 2-4 lifetime. Check. Ball 2. One of the things they tell me that Arroyo does, you know, like you would turn half a tennis ball inside out and maybe flip it and let the air play games with it. He will hold the ball with his hand slightly under the ball for a left-hand hitter, cut it so it rises up inside the left hands of the hitter, and that was that last pitch, and Ethier just did hold up. Boy, he scatters the people with that shot. 2-2. Sunblock and water. Absolutely today. 93 degrees here in the ballpark. Downtown Los Angeles. Fans using anything to fan. 2-2. Arroyo, who has certainly been a fly ball pitcher. One ground ball hit back to the box by Blake. The double play ball hit by Kershaw. And now, if you want to call it just a ground ball, Terrio's hit to the hole at short. Boy, Ethier's swinging hard. Strikes out a second time. Arroyo is not striking out people. He has 3 strikeouts, and he has Ethier twice. So here comes Kemp, homered in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Reds, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Padres won. Dodgers can't do anything about that. The Reds, however, sweating out the Cardinals, who beat the Giants, and they certainly have to be hearing footsteps. Fastball, and he missed. 1 ball and no strikes. Terrio trying to increase his lead at first. 1-1 to count to Matt Kemp. Terrio is a very good base stealer. He has stolen 2 with the Dodgers. He's stolen a total of 18 this year. And then James Loney on deck. 1-1. Ball 2. Arroyo not striking out people, as we mentioned, only 3, but he has not walked anybody. Clayton Kershaw walked 2 in the first inning, and he has walked 1 since. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and 2. Dodgers leave town tomorrow, heading for Milwaukee. Ryan Braun, Prince Fielder and company. Then the Dodgers go to Colorado, come home, and play Philadelphia and San Francisco. Dodgers play one other team out of the division, and that will be a 4-game series in September in Houston. 2 and 2 to Matt. Matt Kemp has struck out 130 times and has grounded into 12 double plays. So that's a dilemma if you're the manager. Do I afford to run my man Terrio with a guy who could strike out into a double play? Matt with 21 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Votto holding the corner, Ontario. 2 and 2. Got him. So Matt strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts. And boy, Arroyo's picking on the big boys. 4 strikeouts. He has struck out Ethier twice and Kemp twice. Say, be sure to bring your kids to Dodger Stadium, and with the purchase of every adult ticket on the field or Lowe's level, kids 14 and under, just $5. For details, visit Dodgers.com/specials. School is around the corner, so that would be a good treat at the end of summer for sure. Loney robbed of a hit on a diving catch by Gomes and fly deep to center in the 5th inning, sending Stubbs to the wall. Right. 0-1. So the ball carrying very well in the heat. Reds 3, Dodgers 2, 2 out, 6th inning. Time. 2 out and a left-hand hitter up, a fellow who uses the whole ballpark, so it's not necessary to just think we have to keep Votto on the bag. Oh and 2. So Loney fly to left, fly to center. Terrio is looking over at Boa and then walking back to the bag. Since Arroyo has not walked anybody, he's had excellent control. If you're trying to think along inside the game, Terrio's over there 0-2. Will they call pitch out just in case? And we saw Hannigan look over to the bench. And Arroyo's off the rubber. On deck, Casey Blake. Arroyo trying to win his 100th victory in his career. Maybe it wasn't a pitch out, but he certainly kept it far away from the plate. 1-2 the count. That's part of the wonderful sport that baseball is. There are so many things going on, and if you try to pay attention, try to think along with the players and the managers, it's even more fun. 1-2 the count. As we've seen in the last couple of games, it has been very important when a base runner is going as to who's going to cover, shortstop or second base. And normally you play it by left-handed or right-handed hitter, but then they have meetings on pitches, location of pitches. Everything changes. Phillips is very deep and far from the bag at second. There goes Theriot, and it's fouled away. The shortstop was covering, and that's normal. When the second baseman and the shortstop are deciding who's going to cover, I guess since they first began this game, whoever the leader is, whoever's going to call, will hold his glove up to his mouth so no one can see it. And then usually it's an open mouth, might mean you cover. Closed mouth, I cover. Or in my case, open mouth, I cover. 1 and 2. Theriot not going. Another foul ball. Had the chance, let it get away. You know, when people try to catch a foul ball, they don't realize that ball is spinning. It's not like somebody just tossed it to you and you caught it. That thing is spinning a mile a minute. Pretty hard to hold on to it. And got him on the corner. So Loney joins Ethier and Kemp as he strikes out. No runs, a leadoff single. And at the end of 6, 3-2 Reds. Walked a couple, but he has gone to his strength. He has 10 strikeouts, did not have any in the 6, so he had 10 in 5 innings. Here he goes in the 7th, certainly a Hyundai key to the game. 1 ball and no strikes to Paul Yanis, the frustrated shortstop. Twice had to make the long throw, and each time came up short. 2-0 the count. Yanis popped up twice, 0 for 2. 3-2 in favor of the Reds. In there. Yanis, Arroyo, and Phillips. Foul back, out of play. Still 2-2. Kershaw has walked 3 to go with his 10 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 runs, 5 hits. And another foul ball out of play. And missed inside, ball 3. Yanis is from Cypress, Texas, so that figures to be hot country. But of course, Kershaw is from Texas as well. That last name, Janish, they tell me it's a Czechoslovakian name, but he has no idea why the J is pronounced like a Y. Yanis. Last year, he hit .230, no home runs against left-handers. .203, 1 home run against right-handers. And whacks it foul. He's playing for the injured Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera hitting .260, 3 home runs, 37 runs batted in, out with a stiff neck. 3-2. And he walked him. So Kershaw walks Yanis. That'll bring up Arroyo. And we'll see if they play bunt. Arroyo has 4 sacrifices. And he is a good hitter. And the leadoff man, Brandon Phillips, on deck. and Phillips wearing the Dodgers out in this series. Bronson shows bunt and got it down. Kershaw's only play high, but Terrio stays with it. So Arroyo does his job, moves the man to second, and with one out, Brandon Phillips. Phillips had 3 hits and drove in 3 in the first game. He had 1 hit last night, and he has 3 more hits today. So he's had 7 hits in the series. And of course, we told you earlier about the incredible numbers he has, hitting better than .450 in his career at Dodger Stadium. So for Kershaw, the worst guy in the world coming up right now. By the way, Clayton has made 105 pitches, and that includes 27. And so Octavio Dotel is warming behind him, the 27 foul balls. And there's another one. 0-1. Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Giannis at second with 1 out. Dodgers will have Blake, Carroll, and Ellis, and Kershaw due to bat 4th when they come up in the bottom of the 7th. Oh, 0-1. Fouled away. 0-2. Kershaw's high as far as his pitch count is concerned. He's had 117 twice, but that was back in April and then very early May. Then he had 117 the 1st of August against the Giants in San Francisco, but it wasn't in the heat like it is today. 0-2. Ball 1. You look down, you get the feeling the Reds feel at home in the heat. If you look down at their dugout, you will see all the Reds on the railing. If you look down to the Dodger dugout, you'll see just a very few on the railing. I assume many of them sitting back in the shade. And Phillips badly fooled on a pitch away and strikes out. That was a huge out.
For the Reds, third baseman, Miguel Cairo.
So Miguel Cairo, who has really had a rough day. Cairo is not only 0 for 3, he has struck out all 3 times. Curveball didn't curve. 1 ball and no strikes. Cairo hitting .288 with 4 home runs. Certainly came into the game as anything but a strikeout hitter. And with Giannis at second and 2 out, they're certainly hoping he'll make contact. He had only struck out 21 times all year, and it's 3 times today. Ball 2. Bill Bray, the left-hander whom we saw last night, and right-hander Nick Massett begin to warm up now in the Cincinnati pen. Two balls and no strikes. 3-2 Cincinnati. They led 2-0. Dodgers made it 2-1, tied at 2-2. Reds take a 3-2 lead, and here we are, 7th inning, 2 out. 2-0 to Cairo, the former Dodger prospect, fouled into the Reds dugout. See all Cincinnati on the railing. See how they're all out there. The heat doesn't bother them. You play in Cincinnati, this is just a normal day. But if you look at the Dodger dugout, they're a firm believer in Noel Coward, and Mad Dogs and the Englishmen go out in the midday sun. 2-1 to Cairo. Whoops. Quick look, but nothing else. back. So 2 strikes on Cairo again. Cairo, last time he started a game, hit a 2-run home run to help beat Florida 2-0, and it was last Sunday. It was in the 6th inning. Had his fight foot. 3-2. Cairo, prior to today, in his last 50 at bats, hitting .328. Yet Kershaw has hammered him 3 times. 3-2, and of course on deck is the man, Joey Votto. Votto on deck hit the home run in the 6th inning to left field to break the tie. And he walked him. So Kershaw walks his 2nd man in the inning. And now take a look at the power of Joey Votto. Left-hand hitter, left-hand pitcher, and he hit a fly ball, it looked like, and Poseidon just went to the wall and it carried into the seats. Joey with 29 home runs, 84 runs batted in, and Rick Honeycutt going to the mound. Joey Votto is from Canada, so I wouldn't say he's at home in the heat. He was born in Toronto. He was a number 2 pick by the Reds at a Richview Collegiate Institute in Toronto. And as he says, I didn't want to play hockey. I only wanted to play baseball. Well, he's a highly motivated, hard worker, and it's all paid off for him. He's 6'3", 220 pounds, and last year, without a doubt, was the most consistent hitter in the league. How about this? Overall batting average, .347. Runners in scoring position, .344. On the road, hit .345. At home, hit .351. Against right-handers, .341. Against left-handers, .358. I mean, how much more consistent could you possibly be? Joey Votto. And a strike. For Kershaw now, he's right up to his high in pitching. He has 1 pitch left to get him to 117. Oh, and 1 to Joey with 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 Reds. 0-2. Kershaw with 11 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's allowed 3 runs, 5 hits. Oh, and 2. Comebacker. So he's out of the jam. No runs, no hits, 2 left. And at the end of 6 1/2, 3-2 Reds. And now God bless America and take me out to the ball game.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Once again, please welcome Kim Devine.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my
Kim Devine. Now, fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7th inning stretch. Be sure to play Mega Millions.
3-2 in favor of the Reds. Blake, Carroll, and Ellis in that order. For Clayton Kershaw, 118 pitches, his high for the year on a really rough day. Made 24 pitches in that previous inning, 23 in the first. Has pitched a tremendous effort, but he's down 3-2. We'll see. Dotel is still throwing, so if they get anything going, it looks like they bat for him. That's a strike. 2-1 the count. Casey hit back to the box, single to the hole at short. Scored a run. The run he scored at the time tied up the game 2-2. In there. 2-2. Angel Campos calling balls and strikes. He was born here in California, lives in Arizona. Fouled away. In looking at Arroyo's work this year, he has 2 complete games. So he's big and tall and strong. Got him. So Blake is caught looking, and all of a sudden, Bronson Arroyo, who had struck out 2 in the first 5 innings, has struck out 4 in a row. Let's take a look at the Dodgers' 2 runs. First of all, came in a hurry. Matt Kemp leading off the second inning, hit it out. And then in the 5th inning, the Dodgers needed singles by Blake and Carroll and Ellis to get the second run. But as we said now, Arroyo has struck out 4 in a row. Ethier, Kemp, Loney, and now Blake. Strike. Jamie Carroll lined out to third. Single to center. Jamie hitting .289. It would be impossible to replace Rafael Furcal on an even par with ability, but Jamie Carroll has certainly done a tremendous job. That's a strike. Jamie a little annoyed on the call. One ball and 2 strikes. Arroyo's high in strikeouts, at least at a quick glance, would be 7. He's done that 3 or 4 times. And he has 6 strikeouts today, but more impressively, 4 in a row. And a one-hopper, Brandon Phillips. And we have 2 down in the 7th inning. That's the rare ground ball given up by Arroyo today. A.J. Ellis, young catcher, has had a good day. Led off the 3rd inning with a single to right. And then in the 5th inning, A.J. came up, single to center to drive in what at that time was the tying run. A.J. with 10 runs batted in. That's a strike. Coming out on deck, the left-hander who started at first base last night, Jay Gibbons. And Jay had a big night. He had a walk, a single, and a home run. He would bat for Kershaw. Sliced fair inside first, down the line. Ellis will hold on. Good recovery by Heisey to get it back in. So Ellis slices one into right field. That would be his 3rd hit. And here comes Gibbons. Jay will be hitting for Kershaw. So the tying run is aboard for the Dodgers with 2 out as Gibbons comes up. Jay's home run last night came down and hit the very top of the center field wall. Could have gone anywhere from there, and it just bounced out. Drew Stubbs was hoping that it would bounce back, but out she went. For Jay has 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. Veteran who has certainly been around. Ellis at first, 2 out, not much of a threat to steal for sure. And ball 1. Been looking at Bronson Arroyo and Jay Gibbons. Gibbons has faced him quite a bit, and he's hitting .357 against him, 5 for 14. No doubt they battled. Bronson with the Red Sox, Jay with Baltimore. That's a strike. 1-1. So Clayton Kershaw went 7 big innings, made 118 pitches, and goes out losing 3-2 with the tying run at first base and 2 out. Fly ball to left field, heading for the glove of Johnny Gomes. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 7, as Kershaw calls it a day, Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Joey Votto opening up the 6th inning. Dodgers saw the Reds get 2 in the first inning. Dodgers came back with a home run by Kent in the 2nd, and 3 hits produced a run in the 5th to tie it up, and then Joey Votto homered in the 6th inning. So now here is Octavio Dotel picking up for Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw, 7 innings, made 118 pitches, his high of the year, and allowed 3 runs. Dotel will be going after Gomes, Heisey, and Hannigan in that order. Johnny Gomes made a fine defensive play, catching the line drive hit by James Loney back in the 2nd inning. And Johnny with the bat has walked and grounded out twice, 0 for 2. So he's struggling. He was 2 for 23. So now he's 2 for 25. Ball 1. Dotel, the veteran from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, 35 years old in November. Originally signed by the Mets in 1993. 1-1 to Johnny Gomes. Dotel, an even 6, about 210. Been with a lot of ball clubs. Of course, he came up to the big leagues for the first time in 1999. The Mets and the Astros, the A's, Yankees, Tampa, Kansas City, Atlanta, White Sox, Pirates. 1-2 the count to Johnny Gomes. John hitting .261, 13 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Off the plate. Gomes last year had 20 home runs, 51 runs batted in, and hit .267. Foul ball. Johnny was born in San Francisco and lives in Petaluma. He went to Santa Rosa Community College. 6'1", 225. He'll be 30 in November. And coming in for it and picking it off, Posednik. So one away. And the struggles of Johnny Gomes continues. And the batter will be Chris Heisey. Heisey hitting .274, struck out twice, and had a soft line drive caught by Casey Blake. A towering fly ball. Posednik started back. So just like that, 2 down in the 8th inning on fly balls to left field. Be sure to take advantage of a winning combination on your way to the stadium this year. Go Metro to Union Station. Connect with Dodger Stadium Express. Your ticket to the game grants you a free ride starting 90 minutes before every game. So for more information, visit Dodgers.com/express. Here's Hannigan, single to center, struck out and walked. And a strike to the catcher. He's always in the lineup handling Bronson Arroyo. Hitting .289. 0-1. The paid attendance today on a beautiful hot summer Sunday was 93 when the game started. 44,788. 44,788. Ball 2. So the Dodgers are now up roughly to 2,950,000, and they're averaging just about what they have today, 44,796. 2-1. Popped up. Ryan Theriot. So 3 balls in the air, 3 quick outs. The Reds are done 1, 2, 3. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Posednik, Theriot, and Ether. 3-2 Reds. A strong 7 innings, allowing 2 earned runs, and looking for his 100th career win. So his performance certainly a key to the game. And over his last 5 starts, he has been brilliant. However, he has never won at Dodger Stadium. He's 0-3, and they give the ball now to Nick Massett. That last name Masset. Born in St. Petersburg, lives in the San Francisco area. And does the name ring any bell at all with you? Let's give you another name. Nick Massett and Manny Ramirez. Yep, you're right. When Manny had that pinch hit grand slam home run against Cincinnati, Massett was the pitcher. Couple of changes. Johnny Gomes comes out of the game. The outfield now, Heisey is in left and Jay Bruce is in right. And Posednik hits it, and he's done. 1 away. So the batter will be Ryan Theriot. Yeah, that was a pretty memorable night on Manny Ramirez bobblehead night. That he would come up and hit a grand slam. For Massett, another day in the park as he works on Theriot. Theriot flied to left, flied to right, single to the hole at short. Fastball strike. Massett is 6'4" and 220. He's 28 years old, originally drafted 10 years ago by the Rangers. No balls and 1 strike. And another strike. Basically, you get a lot from him. He has a fastball, 2-seamer, and the 4-seamer. 1 sinks, 1 rises. Then he has a curve, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. 0-2. Ball 1. When the Reds made the deal to get Massett. To give you an idea what they thought of Nick, they traded Ken Griffey Jr. to the White Sox to get him. And so Massett's reaction is what you would imagine. Wow, a guy I watched growing up, my favorite player. It's an honor being in the same trade with him. It's really exciting, and here he is. 2-2. Curveball hit slowly to Giannis. He winds it up to throw him out. 2 down in the 8th inning, and Andre Ethier coming up. Ethier flied to right and struck out twice. Andre hitting .298, 19 home runs, 69 runs batted in. 0-1. For Ethier, he's now been passed by Kemp, who has 21. They each have 69 runs batted in to lead the club. 0-1. 0-2. So Nick Massett trying to set him down in order here. Last year, left-handers hit .216 against him. Right-handers .195. 0-2. Hard foul ball outside of first. Still 0-2. 2 years ago, well, more than that, 10 years ago, when he was in high school, Nick Massett had Tommy John surgery. Imagine you have it and you're in high school. And somehow he recovered. Here he is. Another foul ball. 2 years ago, around this time in August, Massett was in a minor car accident. Oh, that knocked him out for a few games. He was almost home when a lady pulled out of a shopping center and ran into him, and he suffered a bruised pitching hand. Oh, 2. Fouled away again. Massett has made the stops. Frisco and Stockton, Oklahoma. Then the big leagues with the Rangers and the White Sox. This is his 3rd year with the Reds. No balls, 2 strikes. Slap foul the other way. So Ethier is still up there. No balls and 2 strikes. Dodgers haven't seen that much of Nick Massett. Ethier is 0 for 2 against him. Matt Kemp waiting on deck. No balls and 2 strikes. Time. Just looking at the numbers, Manny Ramirez had only 1 at bat, and that was against Massett when he hit the grand slam. Curveball got him, so a tough day for Andre. He strikes out 3 times. Down go the Dodgers in the 8th, and at the end of 8, Reds 3, Dodgers 2. Lead since the leadoff home run by Joey Votto in the 6th inning. Now in the 9th inning, Jonathan Broxton is brought in. So it's been Kershaw for 7, allowing the 3 runs. Dotel pitched the 8th, and now Jonathan Broxton. Broxton will be facing the bottom of the lineup, but in a double switch, they have right fielder Jay Bruce batting ninth. So it'll be Drew Stubbs, Paul Janisch, and then Bruce, a left-hand batter. Broxton worked the ninth inning last night, struck out one and made 16 pitches. Drew Stubbs struck out, grounded out, hit into a force play, 0 for 3. The Reds have 5 hits, 3 of them for Brandon Phillips. Hannigan has a hit, and Votto has the home run. The Dodgers, meanwhile, have 7 hits, 3 from A.J. Ellis. Fouled away. Down in the Cincinnati bullpen, getting ready to pitch the ninth inning, Francisco Cordero. So you have Broxton with 22 saves, Cordero with 33 saves involved in the ninth. 0-1. And to the backstop, 1 ball and 1 strike. Pressure on the Reds because the Cardinals won. They beat the Giants. Padres won. Dodgers in danger of falling 12 back again. Reds trying to stay afloat and remain 3.5 in front of St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1. Reds had 2 walks and a single to load the bases, and with 2 out, catcher Ryan Hannigan singled to drive in the 2. Votto homered for their 3rd run. Kemp homered for 1, and 3 singles gave the Dodgers their 2nd run, but they're still a buck short. 2-1. Little low, ball 3. So 3-1 to Stubbs. And looking at Broxton's important numbers, (18 walks, 63 strikeouts), and a high pop fly, shallow right, and it's E-field. So 1 out, top of the 9th inning. The last hit for the Reds, and a big difference, that was Votto's home run in the 6th inning. In fact, the Reds have had only 2 hits since the 2nd inning. A single by Phillips in the 5th, and the home run by Votto. So for the umpteenth time, the Dodger pitching has been very good, but the offense has been stifled. Right. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th, Matt Kemp, James Loney, Casey Blake. 0-1 to Paul Janisch, the shortstop. 1-1. Janisch popped to short, popped to second, drew a walk. 0 for 2, batting .276. One ball and 1 strike. And a little sliced foul back into the crowd. Paid attendance today 44,788. So you could say it was an average crowd today, because that's just about the average crowd for a Dodger game. 44-7. 1-2 to Janisch. Outfield straightaway, shorten up a little bit. Two and 2. The Reds have that big series with the Cardinals on Labor Day weekend, September 3, 4, and 5. Off the plate. Reds still have to go to San Francisco when they leave here. Dodgers will leave in the morning for Milwaukee. 3-2 to Giannis, 1 away, 9th inning. And fouled away again. Giannis 0 for 4 in the first game. 1 for 4 last night, so 1 for 8. 0 for 2 today, so he is 1 for 10 in the series. And he walked him. So a pretty good at bat for Paul Giannis to draw the walk, and that'll bring up Jay Bruce. Say, you know, you can follow the Dodgers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, Android phone with MLB.com at bat 2010. You can visit Dodgers.com today for more details. You'll get play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcast. Jay Bruce last night 0 for 3, had a scoring fly ball. He's hitting .263. And he hits a little dunker into center for a base hit. Stopping at second is Giannis. So Broxton now in trouble. First and second, 1 out. And the hot hitter in the series coming up, Brandon Phillips. Phillips has a total of 7 hits in the 3 games. 3 in game 1, 1 last night, 3 more hits today. So 1 away. Phillips with 14 home runs. Big RBI opportunity for Brandon. He has 49 runs batted in. Fouled away. And looking at Jonathan Broxton battling Brandon Phillips. Phillips hitting .429 against him. Last night, however, Broxton struck him out. Oh, and 1 the count. We told you earlier that the Dodgers acquired catcher Rod Barajas from the New York Mets. The Giants picked up outfielder Cody Ross on waivers from Florida. Cody Ross, an outfielder who was originally signed by the Dodgers. 0-1 to Brandon Phillips. Ground ball to the hole, smothered by Carroll. No play, but he kept the ball on the infield and prevented Giannis from scoring. So an infield single for Brandon Phillips. Remember his unbelievable numbers here at Dodger Stadium. I mean, it's scary, as Scott Rowland is now going to come up and hit. I mean, the last time Phillips was up there, we were talking about the fact that he was hitting .448 here, but it's better than that now. The highest batting average of any major leaguer with at least 50 at-bats in the history of Dodger Stadium. There it is. He's now hitting almost .460, and Ramirez back of him at .410. Way down there at .377, Roberto Clemente. So Brandon Phillips is so very much at home here. He's had 8 hits in the 3 games. He'll hate to leave town. Meanwhile, Jonathan Broxton in some trouble, and Scott Rowland is coming up to bat for Miguel Cairo.
For the Reds, batting for Cairo, number 27,
Cairo had a tough day, struck out 3 times and walked. And looking at the veteran Roland, he's 1 for 4 against Jonathan Broxton. So here are the Reds with another bases loaded situation. They've had that, not in this game, but they've had it so many times this year. They did have the bases loaded in the first inning when Hannigan's base hit scored 2. They've been involved in 11 stems. They've hit 5, the opposition 6, and Roland has 4 grand slams. 1-1. Roland's last grand slam would be against Atlanta. No, when he was with St. Louis. 06. So they're out there for him. Yanish, Bruce, and Phillips. 1 out. 3-2 Reds, 9th inning. 1-2. Roland, who is normally rested on day games following night, so he was not in the starting lineup. They've just called him into play here. Very dangerous with his 18 home runs, 69 runs batted in, and hitting .298. Got it. So Broxton rears back and strikes out Scott Rowland. And now with 2 down, the #1 guy on the Reds club, Joey Votto. Votto hasn't done a lot with the bat. He had 2 singles last night. He was 0 for 4 in the first game. But his homer to left field in the 6th inning against Kershaw is the difference in the game. Joey hitting .322. 29 home runs, 84 runs batted in. MVP candidate for sure. 0-1. Votto against Broxton is 0 for 1. Joey did not face him last night. No balls and 1 strike. So Broxton going to his strength, throwing hard, striked out Roland, gets out in front of Votto, 0-2. Joey has 1 grand slam. He hit it this year in Atlanta. Crowd very much into it. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded, 9th inning. Reds lead 3-2 and time. So a dramatic pause. Chance to remind you when the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 9th. Matt Kemp, James Loney, Casey Blake. Time. Votto, I think, distracted by the helicopter, backed out and pointed up to the sky. And against a guy throwing 96, you do not want any distractions. Never mind with the bases loaded in the 9th inning. All right, 0-2 to Joey. High fly ball down the line. Plesetnik coming across into foul ground. Reaches in the stands and came up empty. So near and yet so far for Scott Plesetnik. Couldn't make the play. So the bases remain loaded. Yanish at third, Bruce at second, Phillips at first. Boy, how close. So Scott gave it his best shot And Votto is still up there, 0-2. One and two the count. When you throw as hard as Jonathan Broxton and you have a runner on third, not a bad idea to check. He has one wild pitch. So Giannis at third, on edge and ready. Fouled away, upstairs off third. For Broxton, he is working very, very hard. So much so, he is making more pitches in this one inning than Arroyo or Kershaw. Kershaw's tops was 24. Arroyo's top was 23. And for Broxton, this will be pitch number 25. To repeat, he made 16 pitches last night. 1-2 to Joey Votto. Time. Breeze blowing out to right field now. Fouled at the plate. Joey hit, I believe, in the ankle or foot area, so he has to walk it off. Big boy out of Canada. Never wanted to play hockey. Baseball was his thing, and it sure paid off. Joey was a number 2 draft pick back in 2002 by the Reds. Last year, he had .319 with 18 home runs against right-handers. One and two the count. Two and two. Kind of a high slider, didn't have much bite to it. One of the things they talked about Votto a little bit earlier in his career, the fact that he might have been too patient a hitter, putting himself in a pitching count instead of a hitting count. Up there now, deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 9th inning, 3-2 Reds. Ground foul. So he's got Broxton working now. So far, this has been an 8-pitch at bat. Joey gets his power. He's 6'3", 220. Big John gets his velocity from his height and weight of around 290. So Giannis, Bruce, and Phillips are all out there with 2 out, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ball 3. So now it's a 9-pitch at bat. The 2 Stags with their horns locked here. And the Reds trying to add to a 3-2 lead. And the Dodgers trying to keep it down for the bottom of the 9th. So they've gone as far as they can go. Votto and Broxton. Three and 2. Runners at the ready. Runners go. And there's a line drive base hit into left field. Scoring is Giannis. Here comes Bruce to score. And it is 5-2 Reds. And the MVP of the Reds and maybe the MVP of the National League does it again. Joey Votto, a single to left to drive in 2. He has driven in 3 today. And the Reds now with a comfortable lead. And Joe Torre heading for the mound, probably with a hook. So Votto in a 10-pitch at bat. comes up with a huge base hit, scoring 2. And a downcast Broxton leaves, and we'll be back. A walk and 2 singles, struck out Scott Rowland with the bases loaded, and then there was that magnificent battle with Joey Votto, a 10-pitch battle, and Votto for the second time going the other way. He homered to left in the 6th inning and singles to left to drive in 2 huge runs in the 9th. So Votto won the battle, and now Ronald Belisario is brought in. Belisario trying to pick up the pieces. Nick Massett is due up, and of course Jim Edmonds, the veteran, comes off the bench to bat for him and takes a strike. Edmonds hitting .274. Since he came over to Cincinnati, he's just 3 for 20. But he had 9 home runs, 21 runs batted in before coming over. 1 ball and 1 strike. So quite a duel. Broxton and Joey Votto, and Votto proving to be a patient hitter, as we talked about, but also an extremely productive one. Maybe he was very patient and not getting the counts that he wanted earlier in his career, but look out now. Votto at first, Phillips at second, 2 out, 2 balls and 1 strike. Check swing foul to Edmonds, 2-2 the count. Edmonds, of course, has had a marvelous career, one of the great defensive outfielders, as well as a very potent batter, and I guess made his bones, or whatever they say it, especially in the big leagues with the Angels. Came up to the Angels way back in 1993. He's 40 years old. Time really flies. Had been with the Padres, the Brewers, didn't play last year. Played this year with the Brewers, and now finishing up with Cincinnati. Born in Fullerton, last we knew lived in Yorba Linda. Went to Diamond Bar High School. Up there with 2 on, 2 out. Runners go 3-2 on ball 4. So Belisario walks the pinch hitter, Edmonds. That loads the bases again. And the batter will be Lance Nix. So Nix batting for Massett. It's a 2-run inning thus far. Reds have some comfort now, leading by 3, and Nix coming up. Lance hit last night for Stubbs and flied out. Started game 1, had a base hit and a walk, went 1 for 4. So you have Edmonds with a walk, and you have Votto and Phillips loading the bases. Little ground ball, Theriot, a quick feed to Carroll, and that's it. But the damage has been done. That rather dramatic 10-pitch at bat between Joey Votto and Jonathan Broxton. Votto the winner, and it's 5-2 Reds. Reds have Lance Nix playing in left field now for Chris Heisey. So the outfield is Nick, Stubbs, and Bruce. And the closer for the Reds, that would be Francisco Cordero, comes out of the pen. Cordero, 3-4, ERA of just under 4, but he has 33 saves. So Cordero trying to get the 3 outs and take the team on to San Francisco. Francisco Cordero from Santo Domingo, Cordero 6'2", 235. Originally signed by the Tigers back in '94, and he'll be facing Matt Kemp, then James Loney, and then Casey Blake. So that base hit by Joey Votto is huge now. What was a tight 3-2 game is now 5-2. Right. Cordero has played with the Tigers and the Rangers, then the Brewers, and this is his third year with the Reds. 1 ball and 1 strike. He has saved as many as 49 games. He did that for Texas 6 years ago. Saved 30 last year, 39 the year before, and he has 33 so far this year. 1-2 the count to Matt. Homered in the second inning over the center field fence and struck out twice. And in looking at Cordero's numbers, 35 walks, 50 strikeouts. 1-2. 2-2. Cordero with a good sinking fastball. He also has a slider and a change. Ball 3. So Matt Kemp trying to lead the Dodgers back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sliced foul out of play. As far as the Dodgers facing Cordero, Matt Kemp is 0 for 3 against him. Fastball hit the third. Rowland is down there now. Where Scotty makes the play, and the Dodgers burn up 1 out in the 9th inning. That will bring up James Loney. Loney robbed of a hit on a diving catch by Johnny Gomes. Fly deep to center. Stubbs caught it right at the wall. And then last time up, James struck out. Loney against Cordero. 1 for 1. Cordero, when he first signed with the Tigers and came up, he was a starting pitcher. High pop foul off third. Rowland, that's a moon, makes the catch. So Loney fouls out. And looking at the Dodgers, they have had a single by Ellis in the 7th inning. They had a leadoff single by Terrio in the 6th, and they had the 3 hits for a run in the 5th inning. And way back in the 2nd inning, they had a home run by Kemp. So for the Dodgers, as so often happens these days, the offense just does not produce enough to win a game, or at least not many of them. Casey Blake hit back to the box, single to short, struck out, and a strike. Clayton Kershaw, who made 118 pitches, struck out 11, allowed 3 runs, and is in danger of losing his 8th. Bronson Arroyo, who went 7 innings, struck out 6, allowed 2 runs, made 103 pitches. He stands to win his 14th and to beat the Dodgers for the first time at Dodger Stadium. Casey pops it up. Scott Rowland and Giannis, and it is Giannis, and that